Hey, welcome to the Masterpiece Life Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Leticia Garcia. I am excited that you have joined us for episode 3 of Breaking Cycles, Building Legacy. Can you believe it? We're already at episode 3. I can't wait for you to hear this conversation with Michelle Flores. Her testimony is amazing, and I know I say that about every one of these speakers, but they truly are amazing testimonies. I believe every one of these episodes are encouraging you to go and break the cycles, and I hope they're encouraging you and challenging you to begin to build or continue to build that great legacy that you are called to. So without further ado, let's jump right in. Hey, Michelle, thank you for being on the Masterpiece Life podcast. How are
Hi,
you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so excited. I seen your full circle from when you started coming to church, just hearing your testimony and where God completely transformed your life. I seen you from that point from who the heck are these people? They're weirdos. Am I gonna want to stay here? Hubby dragged you there. Or I don't
No,
know.
he did. He drugged me.
He's like, woman, you're coming with me. Were you guys married? You were married.
No,
You
no, no,
weren't married.
no. We weren't married. He was over my partying. So he was like just telling me we were dating at the time, but we lived together. We got married in 2011. And we just went to City Hall. We got married. We've been together since 2007. So total of 18 years we've been together. Yeah, long time.
Wow.
Yeah, he seen me, at my complete lowest. We seen each other at our complete lowest, and that's what, he met me when I was still partying and everything, and I didn't know I was a hot mess. But, yeah, we met at that time, and I couldn't stop partying, and he stopped for a while, and he was, like, telling me, "I'm tired of doing this, like, there has to be better out there, Michelle," like, we were just fighting, and it was really bad in the beginning, but then, yes, he brought me to Star David, and he was like, "You gotta meet my aunt and uncle," and I'm like, "Okay, I'll meet them," and he gave me the Star David warning, like, it's not a normal church because I did, my babysitters did take me to church, like Sunday school. So so I had that, but as far as being committed, no, I wasn't committed and my parents didn't make me go. So it wasn't until I met George and which I knew God set that up. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
know at the time, but yes, God totally there was a bigger picture for me and George. But yeah, it was just added to our testimony, everything that when we first met.
You said you were partying. What was the thing that made you decide, "I have to change"? I mean, because 'cause I'm sure you were having fun, but I'm also sure there was nights where it's like, "This there has to be more to life than this." What was that tipping point where you're like, "No, I have to change"? 'Cause you didn't have kids then like you do now, so
No.
there was nothing like, "Oh, for my kids, I need to do this." Is it the relationship with George? Like, "Okay, he wants to do this, so I'm gonna do it," or was there
No.
something?
Oh, actually, I actually had that thought one night, night of partying. So my addiction was coke and liquor, and I was one night partying, and I thought that I was like, I felt like I sobered up at that moment where I'm like, there has to be more than this, because I was
Mhm.
just in that same old rut. Like I would party, get wasted, black out. That's how
God.
much I drank. It wasn't just like fun. It was like I blacked out. And then and I would go to work and it was just like repeat, repeat. I didn't go out just Friday night. I went out like Monday through Friday night. And I literally had that thought and I was like, man, there has to be more to life than this. And I don't even know
Mhm.
why I thought that in my having fun. I think just slowly I was getting tired of it. I was getting tired of feeling hungover. I was getting tired of headaches. I was getting tired of when you do hard drugs, like I was that next day, I hated that feeling. And I would look at myself and I would think, man, you look so ugly. Like I couldn't even recognize myself anymore. So slowly I just became tired of it. How Sonny always says you have to get tired of being sick and tired. And I did. I was tired of it. And I didn't do it for George because I used to choose my friends and drinking and drugs over him. He would say, you love the bottle more than me, and it was
Mhm.
sad. Now I think about it, how sad it
Yeah.
was because it was so true. Like, I didn't care. I didn't care that I would just leave him and go out. I didn't care that I we would have plans. I would break my plans to go hang out with my friends, like my girlfriends. I did not do it for George, even though he wanted me to do it. But it was a
You
process. It did, and this did not happen overnight. This was not. I'm talking like years. It took me to stop. Yeah.
wow. This was your lifestyle. Did you grow up in this lifestyle? Did you see this from family? Where did this come from? Did you just want to be like, you know what? This is what I'm doing and that's what it is?
Great question. I actually, yes, I grew up in that. So my dad comes from a biker gang lifestyle, so
Mhm.
he did drugs, he was in the party scene, and, when my parents were together, I vividly don't remember a lot to get of them together, but when I do, he had his friends over, they're drinking, partying. So, yes, I did grow up with that for a little bit when my parents were together because they divorced when I was 5. But, yes, so my dad both of my parents are addicts. My dad was a functioning addict. He always worked, but he did do um coke, meth, I don't know, crank. He did it all. And he was an alcoholic too, which stems from my grandpa. Is like this is a cycle here. My grandpa didn't break the cycles. It went on to my dad. And then my mom. My mom partied with my dad. I would just say was in the party scene but wasn't like addicted like my dad. My dad couldn't stop. My mom did. But my mom also drank. So
Mm,
I got it on both sides. Yes. And
yeah.
so yeah, I did pick up those cycles because, or that, those habits because my
Yeah, the
parents did not,
pattern.
yes, they didn't
Mhm.
break those.
It's a dysfunction that becomes normal.
Yeah.
That seemed normal at the time because we lived in it. And for me, my dad was an alcoholic. I didn't see him do drugs. I don't know if he did, possibly, but I mean, he definitely an alcoholic. He would come home in the middle of the night and be yelling at my mom. He never hit my mom, but he was very verbally abusive, very like a womanizer, like put you down, be sarcastic, like that.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And so, I mean, he would wake us up in the middle of the night and just be like, "Look at your mom, she's being silly," and it's like he's the one waking everybody up.
Yeah.
And it was a cycle with my family, and I did see what happens when you're drunk. Yes, in the beginning, it's fun, but then when the fights break out and the cussing and
Oh, yeah.
just chaos.
It's chaos. That's what I felt like I grew up in was chaos because unfortunately my dad did hit my mom. Never hit me, but I did witness it a couple of times. So
Mhm,
I told myself as a little kid, I'll never forget this. I told myself, I'm never gonna drink. I'm never gonna do drugs because I hated what it did to my parents. So
mhm.
I'll never forget that. I told myself I'm never gonna do that. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case.
Until you
But
had your first taste of things, then you're like, "Oh, wait a minute."
yes.
Because it
But
drowns out feelings.
it
It
does.
takes you to another world, and you're like, "Oh, I can have fun now." Like, you embrace another type of reality.
Oh, yeah, you're numb to things, you just
Mhm,
don't care because long story short, my dad ended up going to prison, like, my whole childhood, so I didn't have him around a lot. When he got out, he ended up marrying my stepmom, and they were together. So when I think of them, I think of my stepmom and dad because I saw them together more than my mom and dad. I lived with them. So my dad was sober. He ended up sobering up, getting his stuff together. But fast forward, life happened, and he unfortunately couldn't break it. He relapsed, and when you said, like, you just forget about things, that's what
mhm,
I when they were going through that, I was just like, I stopped caring. So,
mhm,
that's when I started doing the hard drugs, like, I got into coke, I
mhm,
got into hanging around with people I never thought I would hang around because I was so against it. It was so easy. I started hanging around with them first, and I wasn't doing coke, I was just, like, drinking a lot, but then
mhm,
you're around it so long, I ended up doing it. So that's why I tell my kids, you gotta be careful who you hang around with. It's so
mhm,
important because I was so against it. And then I can say no one peer pressured me. I did it myself. I asked my friend to get it for me. And yeah, that's how I started. I stopped caring and I gave in to that. And it was really, really hard to break.
like we were saying, it just becomes a norm, but you think in your mind you're okay. you're
Mhm.
all right. But then you were just saying earlier, you would look at yourself and be like, okay, I'm not all right.
But I feel like I was functioning too like my dad because I had my own apartment, I had my own car, I had a job, I worked at IBM. I would go to work hungover, still smelling like alcohol the night before, still drunk from the night before, and I think that's why I got tired because I was just, like, in that routine, and it gets exhausting.
And so fast forward, George brings you to church. And what is your reaction? Like, words like, what is this? What am I getting myself into?
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. I just thought in my mind we were going to church and it wasn't a big deal. Like, we're just going to church. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. And when I got there, I was just like, well, this is not what I was expecting.
What was that moment where you realized, I want peace, I want happiness again?
I actually cried out in the car because I was still hanging when I started going to church in this is like the very beginning. I still
Mm,
was hanging around those people. And in the car, I cried out to God and I said, take this addiction away from me. I don't want to desire this anymore. And that was my turning point because I can tell you from then on, I've never touched coke or weed, anything like that in my life. So I think that was the start of me changing my life because then I stopped hanging around with those friends, slowly weeding myself away from them.
mhm,
And then I
mhm,
got friends in the church. I met you and the girls, and that influence didn't make me want to go back to my past. It was just easy for me to step away from that. And I think God just slowly like worked on healing me from all that trauma and
mhm.
all the addiction. I haven't touched it since
Wow.
2010 was the last time I touched that.
Wow, that's awesome. I mean, I didn't even when you were coming started coming to church, I didn't know any of that about you, but it wasn't that people were saying, "You need to get off the drugs. You need to stop drinking," like, trying to tell you what to do. It was like, "No, I know that I know this is not my life. I know I wanna do better," and I love that you said you in your car because people sometimes think that we have to be in church for transformation, although it could happen there.
Yeah.
It's like it's those personal moments. I mean, I don't know
Yes.
how many moments I had just in my car, just crying out to God and just saying, "This is the issue, help me," or "Just give me peace, just give me joy." So I love that you said, like, I was just in my car and I asked him to heal me and to make me better because so many people are even scared to step in the church because they think the church is gonna crumble when they walk in.
Oh, yeah.
Or right, or that
Yeah.
people are gonna start judging them, be like, "Oh my god, you're this, you're" it's like, "No, no, no, no." This is a
Yes.
personal God who personally knows you and wants to personally be a part of your life.
Yeah, and he loved me through it, he loved me through that. I had no one in church like pointing the finger at me or like how people say people read your mail. Like I had no one ever. They just loved me, you know. They didn't even know what I was going through and
Yeah.
they just loved me for who I was. So yeah, I think love overcame everything like just and seeing how you would flow and Yvette and Angel, and I would think to myself like, "Well, my parents aren't pastors." This was my mentality. My parents aren't pastors. How is God gonna talk to me? Or
Mhm,
I don't even know how He talks. Holy Spirit, I was so
mhm.
lost in the beginning, but you guys were very encouraging because I'm like, wow, if they can hear from God. When I found out He talks to everyone, I thought, wow, He could talk to me. So
Yeah.
it was very encouraging seeing people flow like that.
That's awesome. I love that. And so fast forward even more, you're serving God and living on Jesus, and He's just transforming your life and you and George's relationship now. You're married, you're having babies now, 2
Mhm. 2
wonderful
boys.
boys. So
Yeah.
after having your boys, like, was there another defining moment where you're like, "Oh, I'm recognizing patterns of trauma, I'm recognizing poverty, fear, dysfunction, and this is going great." Like, did you ever come to those realizations?
Oh, yeah, me and George went through we went through all that. We went through the poverty, we went through the just getting by, and George would just say, "Babe, just trust him." And for me, looking back, at first, I didn't know how to trust God. I didn't have my dad in my life where I could trust a man who had my back 100% because my dad was so inconsistent. Um,
Mhm,
So for me, it was trusting God at first. Like I didn't know how to let go. I would just tell George, no, how can you
Yeah.
just trust him so easily? Because he would say, okay, when this is how real it could be. Me and George we stayed in a hotel for like a week or 2 because we were
Mhm.
between moving into a house. We were trying to get this house, and I was so mad at him because I've never been in that situation. And we're laying in bed in the hotel, and I'm like, I can't believe I'm here. And he was like, don't worry, babe, trust God. And I'm like, I didn't even want to hear that. What do you mean, trust God? Because I'm here, you know?
Yeah.
I've never been in this situation, and it's scary and it's fearful, and I did have fear, and I had to break that off, and I had to learn how to trust God. So I couldn't say it's been a process with everything. It didn't happen overnight. But where I'm at today was like now we did go through poverty. Did go through just getting by, but now we own a home. We bought a home last year, and I don't even know how God just
Yeah.
opened up this door. But looking back for all that we went through, it was like sometimes I just lay here and think, wow, God, you are so good. Like,
Wow.
how did we go from staying in a hotel for 2 weeks a long time ago, from
Yeah.
house to house, and now we have our apartment, now we have a beautiful home. And that's
Wow.
all I wanted for my kids is stability. Yes, it's been a process, but yes.
Yes, I totally agree with you on the stability part because when I was younger, we were always moving. We were always getting evicted from our houses. We would move into a house. My dad would end up back in jail because he was drunk driving or something. So then we would have to move back to my grandma. Then we'd get another house, and it's like a ugly pattern. And so we're always constantly going from house to my grandparents' house, always jumping around.
Yeah.
That was so important to me that my kids knew stability. And so
Yes.
we had bought a house in Modesto and we were there for 5 years, and I loved that part of my journey because that's where my whole life changed. When I became best friends with Holy Spirit and I started understanding who he was, and I mean he completely transformed my life during that journey. But then God's like, "Okay, time for the next one." And so we moved back to San Jose, and it was like, I just need a home where my kids, so that kinda bothered me because it was like, "Okay, I own my own home there, like, we're fine, we're building life," and
Yeah.
had 2 other kids, but then I was like, "Oh," he called me back to San Jose, I'm like, "Okay, but I just want stability."
Yes.
I was adamant about my kids going to good schools and being in a good neighborhood. We've been in our house, I think, almost 15 years now, but that was so important to me, stability. And I think
Yes.
sometimes as parents, we could take that for granted, or we're just like, oh, we're just gonna take our kids from here to here and there and there. And I didn't like that being young. I
Yeah.
couldn't stand it. We're going from school to school, always having to meet new friends. And I was like, I'm not doing that to my kids. I can't.
Yes.
I didn't like the feeling. It feels so good though that I can honestly say, and I know you can say the same thing, that my kids have not experienced. I want to say 90% of what I experienced
Oh,
when I
yeah.
was a kid and even as an adult,
Oh, yeah.
because I was adamant about changing things, breaking cycles and repeats that I seen my family go through, and it was like, "No, I I can't let my kids do that." I that
Right?
was
Don't you think something just clicks, like, when your
Yes,
mother instincts come in? 'Cause same thing,
yes.
like, I agree with you 100%. That was me. I'm like, "I am not doing that," and I was adamant too, like, another thing me and George had to fight through is divorce. My
Mhm,
parents were both divorced, his parents are
mhm,
divorced, his so divorce comes on both of our sides, and,
mhm,
yeah, we felt 2 times I was serious. I
mhm,
was gonna leave him. I checked out.
mhm,
We
yep,
lived together, but I checked out. I'm sure he checked out too, and this time I checked out, and I can say I divorced him in my heart. It's ugly to say, but that's the truth of our
yeah,
reality back then. And,
mhm,
and this is while we're in church. So this was when we first started coming to church, and I was learning Holy Spirit's voice, and I was having a relationship with him, and I was digging, like, because you guys would say, like, you have to read, you have to have a relationship. So I learned how to hear his voice around that time, but
mhm,
I was like, I'm done. I was gonna ask my mom if I can move back, and I didn't want to. I heard Holy Spirit woke me up in the middle of the night, and he spoke to me. about me and him and about that God gave me him through the ups and downs, through the bad
Wow.
and low, that God gave me him. And I'm like, "What? God, are you serious?
I know. Him? Are you
That's
sure?
not what I wanted to hear."
You wanted to hear, "Leave 'em,
Yeah,
Michelle."
leave him, Michelle.
No.
You're doing the right thing. He did not say what I wanted to hear. But I could say I obeyed him. I did, and it was hard. That was another long process that I had to heal. He had to heal because, like, hurt people hurt people. We
Yep,
didn't heal from our past, so we're gonna bleed on each other that didn't hurt us initially. This was I'm sure we had trauma from our childhood, so we're just, like, bleeding on each other when we're not
yep,
the real issue here. But
yep.
it was a battle, girl. I was gonna leave him many times, and even the most recent one was in 2020. I was like, "I'm done." Like, it
Yep,
was just the enemy's real. Like,
yep,
divorce, division, it's
yep,
real,
yep,
those generational curses are real, and it's
yep,
scary,
yep.
but when you hear God, when you know that God has your back and you're faithful and you're obedient, like, to see us today, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, God, like, the enemy could have had us, and he almost won." That scary
Wow,
thing, like,
that is scary. Your
and
enemy
I
almost won. Can you believe that?
it was scary because I was done, and I to think, like, how hurt my kids would be. So I was so adamant on working on myself, working on my marriage, and George did the work too. It wasn't just me. He had to do the
Mhm.
work too because he had to heal too from his past. So, yeah, we
Yep,
we definitely have overcame some big hurdles.
yeah, because it's like 2 broken people, right? 2
Exactly.
hurt
And
people,
no
2.
one showed us how to have a marriage. My parents, his parents, no one showed us. We didn't have a good example,
Yep,
so
yep, exactly, and that oh my gosh, again, another cycle to break, right?
yeah, we're navigating through life with no map, you know?
Exactly, no help, no guidance, it's like trial and error, and
Yes.
like I was saying, my dad had a bad mouth towards my mom, and that was one thing that me and my husband, we've been married 26 years now, and it's by the grace of God, and when we first started getting serious, we made a commitment to each other. We said, "We're not gonna cuss each other out, we're not gonna belittle each other and tell each other off, and we're not gonna play makeup breakup games." And we were very serious about it, and I can say to this day, I mean, I'm sure in our heads, we've had, "Oh, I don't know if I can hang on anymore." Never threatened each other. We never kicked each other out of the house.
Oh,
We don't cuss at each other. There's listeners, I'm not trying to, make you feel bad or anything if that you're just on a journey and you can break that cycle, but I seen that growing up and I didn't like it, like you were saying, I didn't like it.
I
And
did
I
not like it. Like, it's ugly. It makes the kids be scared. I remember being scared in my room, like, when my parents were fighting, and I would just be so scared. So I can imagine how that would make my kids feel. So me and George either, we don't yeah, we have heated arguments, but we
Yep.
don't cuss at
Oh,
each
yeah.
other, you know?
Mhm.
We don't do that. We don't kick each other out. We never done that.
Exactly,
But
because it is healthy for your kids to see and hear an argument because
yes,
then they're seeing a reconciliation, seeing a conversation,
e
they're seeing adult conflict that has been
exactly.
worked out, right?
Yeah.
And like there's another way to do it. Because my husband's seeing things too, and again, it is a pattern.
It's a pattern.
It's a pattern, and I don't hold any hard feelings towards my mom or my because Holy Spirit was showing me your dad went through things. Your
Mhm.
dad seen things. For him, it's a cycle. He just starts showing me, and I start feeling the heart of that. So I never want to be. It's all your fault. There's always a pattern.
Oh, yeah.
Something happened with that
Something
person.
it's yeah, exactly. That's how I feel too.
Mhm.
I have no hard feelings. Me and my dad never I don't know why it was easy for me not to hold any my mom was a little different. We had to work through some things, but
Mhm.
my dad, it was just like the same thing. My dad had to go through horrible abuse and addictions, and my grandpa ended up changing and he was an awesome man, but it still went on to my dad, you
Yep.
know?
Yep.
So it
Yep.
is a cycle. My mom
Yep.
too. Like, they grow
Yep.
up and they don't know how to be parents either
Yeah,
sometimes,
yeah,
you know?
it's true. And my mom had us young, so you're thinking as a kid, you've been through things, so you kinda blame your parents, but then when you get older, like, "Wait a minute, you were only in your 20s. You
Yeah.
were only early 30s, like, what?" What?
And if
How?
they don't have a mom, my mom didn't have a good example, so it's just that it's a cycle, and it's crazy to think about.
It
And it's
is.
crazy to think about now that I've broken that because I
Mhm.
don't want that for my kids. I
Yeah.
tell my kids all the time, "I love you." I hug them. I annoy them, but I never want them to feel like they're not loved or that they can't come to us. So yes, the cycle is real.
Yep.
The
It is.
addiction is real, the divorce is real, but thank God for Jesus, because I
Oh,
really don't know where I would be right now if it wasn't for.
I know, me neither, and I thank him every single day, and my life's not perfect and all that, but you know what? Through him, I feel like it is because
Yep,
I can do all things through him. He does more than I can ask, think, or imagine. I mean, he wows me all the time just with my mind. And my kids are amazing, and that's all because of God. They are my testimony. He wows me just by waking up and being in peace.
yep,
Just by waking up and actually being happy, like, no one has to make me happy. I'm happy because of him. Does life happen? Yes. Do me and my husband argue? Yes. Do I argue with my children? Of course. But it doesn't stay where we're bitter and
no,
we hate each other, like, we've never said we've hate each other. My kids have never told me, "I hate you." I mean, maybe in their head, I don't know, but they've never been so angry with me or that, "I hate you, I can't stand you." Maybe for my oldest, a little more than the other 2 because I had her at 14. So,
yes.
a lot of
So you
trials.
guys grew up together.
Exactly, we grew up together, but then she's having my first grandbaby, and
I can't believe
now
it.
I can't my husband can't believe it, but it's like,
But look at
now
you broke that cycle. She's
I
married, you know?
yes,
She has her own house. Like, girl, you
girl.
totally broke that.
Exactly. Girl, when she turned 18, I was, like, on my knees thanking Jesus that she 'cause I'm telling you, every time one of my kids turned 18, I was like, "Thank you, Jesus." I mean, that alone is a huge.
Oh, yeah.
In my family to be broken, there's so much, and I'm actually sharing in the episode before yours of how he just changed everything, even with education, breaking cycles, but just mindsets alone and things that God has changed in our attitudes and the way of doing things and living life and raising family. It's
Mhm.
like he completely renewed us, and he's been our blueprint. He's been
Yes.
our model, and then we have amazing leaders who model. They had horrific beginnings, but
Yes.
God
But they
completely
taught me not
transformed
to
them.
give up. They really taught me
Exactly.
not to give up. Like, they were the only ones who I could say, yeah, was an example after I met them.
Yeah,
They really taught me how to not give up. So,
yeah. You had to fight.
yes, you have to fight for your kids. It's not just gonna come.
And the funny thing is people think if you go to church, you're just fighting the devil all the time. You're fighting your mind, like we're saying, mindsets.
And
You're
that's big,
fighting.
mindsets. The battle is in your mind. I had to deal with that. I used to think like, "Oh, that's not for me," or "I'm never
Mhm,
gonna get there, never gonna buy a house. I'm never gonna." That was so me. I'm never,
mhm.
never, 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 or it's not in my, road. But
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
no, I had to change that because now I'm like, God, you said I want this. You said I can
Exactly.
have this.
Yeah, exactly, because he changes your stewardship, he teaches you how
Yes.
to be a good steward. He changes just the way you think even about money, and
Yeah,
you
and
don't
tithes,
wanna
like,
pour.
it was hard for me to tithe, I'm gonna be honest, like I told you in the beginning about trusting God. George is the opposite with money, he's like, "Give it all to God," and I'm like, "Wait, we need to pay our bill."
Yeah. Wait, we have to eat tomorrow.
Yeah, but in the beginning, I didn't know how to let go, but now I'm like, "No, we can't afford it. Go pay 'em, babe, go give
Yeah.
our tithes." You can't afford not to tithe, but
Yeah,
that's
and
how mindset rewired for me.
and and he does it in stages, it wasn't like day 1, "Okay, Michelle, you're gonna change this,
Oh, yeah, no.
go to church." It's like, no, it's a daily we're still learning things, we're still changing.
Yes.
That's what I love about him with us, thankfully. And
Yes.
he's through the journey, and I love it because, like I said in the beginning, I've seen your journey. I didn't know all the details that you shared today, so thank you for sharing, but
Mm.
I seen you from then to now, and I mean, Just what you were saying about you and George, you guys, I mean, he's still trying to have kids and
God, yeah, he's crazy.
and you're like, "No, no, dude, not
No,
gonna like, we're
that ship
done."
sailed.
You guys are amazing. That's what happens when we decide because it's a decision. No one's gonna make us, no one made you.
Yes.
You decided, "I wanted to change. I need to change." And like you're saying, not just for you, but now your children, your future grandbabies. It doesn't happen overnight. And it does hurt. It's like, "Oh my gosh, I really gotta change this. I really gotta stop this." Nothing you said you regret changing.
Mm-mm, no. Even I don't know if you remember in the beginning, I used to hide behind George when I first started coming to Star of David, like, 'cause that's how shy I was. I was
Mhm.
like, "I don't know anyone. I'm not talking to anyone because I don't know anyone." I just didn't know who I was, so I was so shy. I wouldn't say how I felt with stuff, so coming to church, I would just hide behind George and then go everywhere he went. And then now, God totally broke off that shyness because it was real.
Yeah.
People say I'm shy. I believe it. It's so real. I really didn't know how to express myself, but now God totally shifted that for me. So I'm able to talk in front of people now, which I never would talk in front of people in my life. But that was because of Future Elite, that really helped me break that off. And then now I don't have to go to church with George. Like I could go by myself.
There was a time where it was we only saw you
Yeah. Oh, and that wasn't
working.
girl, that's another thing we fought through. Yeah. I was going to church just with me. And then I would tell him, like, you brought me to this church and now you don't come because you're tired. I'm tired too. I have a kid. I work, so yeah, we fought through that too, where he just was like, I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm gonna stay home. And
Mhm.
he worked through that. He
Yeah,
didn't give up on that. But
that was
and
his journey. I'll have to
that
have
was
a
his
the
yes.
podcast.
That was his journey, yes, but it would bug me. Thank God I made friends. Thank God they like me because you're not with me.
Well,
So,
yeah, we were like, "Oh, George who? Michelle."
yeah, I know. So, yes, that was another
Wish we met
journey,
you.
but look at him now.
That is
He's stepping
amazing.
out, but I had to trust God with that too. Like everything, it's a process.
It is a
So,
process. I love that. But I love it because you're completely living a whole new life.
yes. I don't even recognize us sometimes in the good for
I know.
good because I'm like, "Oh my gosh, babe, who are you?" Like, he's downstairs playing the congas or I'm up
Yeah.
here worshiping. It's just crazy what God does because even on Friday nights, I joke with him and I'm like, "Babe, are you surprised I'm home? Remember when I was never home on a Friday night?" Because how true it was. I never was. I never was home. I will never change this. I love the life I live right now. I love who God changed me to be. I wouldn't I went through that, but at the time I didn't know why I was going through stuff, but now I help people. I help women who have fought through addiction and partying, and I'm able to share my story and they're like, "What? You did coke? You used to drink?" "Yeah, I did." And you just see me today.
Yeah. He just looks innocent, people.
Yes, I do. I look innocent, but no, I wasn't a hot mess. Like it was ugly. So
That's
I love that God uses what the enemy meant for wrong to help people for the good because it's
exactly.
true. We help people with what we went through.
Exactly. What other values have you instilled in your kids that are building legacy now?
I really instill family into them, like having a relationship with each other, being brothers, still like loving them, kindness, because today in this world, people can be so unkind and mean and hurtful. And I always tell Caleb, treat people with kindness. It's going to come back to you. Just treat them, love them. The ones who no one talks to, like the outcasts or people with disabilities, I go out of my way to tell him, be kind, be nice, open the door for them, befriend them. And if you know Caleb, he's the sweetest kid. I just went to his conference and all his teachers said the same thing that he is so nice, he's so sweet. So I know that's helping. I always talk about integrity with him. Don't act this way, do this, what you're doing behind closed doors. So I do instill integrity and love in them. I want them to know how important it is to put God first because no one taught me that. We do pray every night. They know the Lord's Prayer. Those things I didn't get with my parents. I didn't get the praying at night or reading, but I didn't get those little things that I think are so valuable um, because they have to build their relationship with God on their own, not just
Yeah.
because I say it. I'm instilling them that they need their own relationship with Holy Spirit,
Yeah.
and just to put him first.
It's awesome. So what kind of legacy do you pray to build? We're building legacy now. Legacy doesn't start when we die.
I want to build our faith with them and to
Yes.
know that I never gave up on my faith, on my family, my marriage. I want them to know I never gave up. No matter what, I
Yep.
fought, and I fought, and I didn't give up on them or any of our family. But to me, like building legacy goes beyond success or money.
Mhm.
I want them to create something that lasts when I'm gone.
Yep.
So I do want them, of course, to be successful. I want to leave behind property so they're set up. I don't
Yes.
want them just to get by like how me and George had to fight so hard.
Yeah.
I want their life to be easier than what me and George did.
Yeah.
So we try to set them up for certain things that they could have financially in the long run, which our parents didn't do for us. I do want them to be successful. I just want them to know I never ever give up.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. So now that we're winding down, what's one practical step someone listening today can take to start breaking cycles in their life? Like, what advice would you give them?
I would give them to first recognize the cycle because that's big. People
Hmm.
don't even recognize what they're in because it's dysfunction they've had their whole life.
Yeah.
So maybe recognize that you drink a little too much or whatever the case is, recognize something or even write down what your parents did, write down
Mhm.
what your grandparents did or you and see the pattern because there
Mhm.
always is a pattern. It's such
Yeah.
a cycle that we don't even think about. Like we just see, oh, give grandpa a beer and then that
Yeah.
leads to 2
Yeah.
beers and then 3, and then eventually you're gonna have that beer and 2 beers and 3. So, first of all, you gotta recognize it though and see, I maybe can step down to 1 beer,
Yeah.
and it's a process.
Yeah.
It's a process, but take it step by step. It's not impossible. Nothing's impossible with God. If I can break a cycle,
Exactly.
you can.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you, Michelle. I so appreciate our conversation. I learned things that I didn't even know about you.
Thank
Because again, you look so innocent.
you too, Tisha. I learned things too, and thank you for having me on.
Of
I'm so
course.
blessed to have you as a friend.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And yeah, just forewarn George, I might be asking him to be on here too.
Okay,
Because
I
I
will.
know he has an amazing testimony as well.
Yes, he
He's
does.
been around the block or two. Okay, well, have a blessed night. Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in and listening to this episode. I hope that you enjoyed listening as much as I enjoy recording. And let me share, every one of these speakers, they didn't just come on this podcast just so you can hear their story. They came on here because they wanted to share that you too can live a breakthrough life. You too can begin to break negative cycles that may have hurt you in the past, that you're still holding on to. They just feel like open wounds that you just can't get over. Well, they just want to share their stories, that you can believe in yourself and that you can believe that you too can live an amazing life that is building legacy for your next generation. Tune in next week. It's going to be our last episode, and my guest is Emerald Rubio. Let me tell you, she is going to blow your mind with her testimony. You would never even think she went through what she went through because she's just such a positive, encouraging person. She's so spunky and lively, and she gets you on your toes every time she speaks. I called her a firecracker because that's what she is. I don't want you to miss that. So don't forget to subscribe. And please, if you enjoy the podcast, like it, share it with someone who you know might benefit from these episodes. And we would love for you to comment we would love to hear how the episodes have helped you. And we also have Masterpiece Life resources for you. If you go to the description, just click on the link. It will get you to my link tree, which will provide you my socials. It'll also give you access to the free identity self-assessment and the identity reset guide. So go check it out. Another reminder, you are a masterpiece. You don't have to beg to be one. You don't have to hope to be one. You don't have to apologize for being one. You are a masterpiece. Bye.